The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
The Geek Show.
Yes, joining us on the Geek Show this week, it is Calvin over at the Geek Show. G'day there, Calvin.
Good day, Wammo.
And today we're looking at some Kinect hacks, but I guess for those who are unfamiliar with gaming consoles, and particularly the latest developments, what is the Kinect?
Well, last November, Microsoft released the Kinect controller for the Xbox. It's kind of a new sensor that contains a depth sensing camera and a 4-microphone array. So, as well as having a color camera, the Kinect's also got a system developed by Israeli developers PrimeSense that uses what's called a structured light array to determine the distance from the camera for every single pixel.
Right.
So to do this, it projects a complex pattern using an infrared laser, and then it's got a separate infrared camera to look at this pattern, and then a bunch of very clever maths to work out exactly where each pixel is.
So it's for a consumer device. It sounds pretty high tech, doesn't it?
It is. It's incredibly high tech. It's probably adding about 5 years worth of life onto the Xbox's lifetime as a gaming console as well.
Yeah.
Because it's giving it all the next gen gaming console advantages. Because the next gaming consoles, while the graphics may well be significantly better, it's not going to be the better graphics that sell them.
Yeah.
It's going to be their new capabilities, such as things like this. And it's also got the 4-microphone array. Not many people are talking about this, and it's underused at the moment. But that's a very smart bit of kit. By analyzing tiny differences in timing between when the microphones pick up signals, the Kinect can separate out where the voices are coming from, which makes it much easier to do noise reduction and much easier to do voice recognition, especially on multiple people.
Ah, okay.
Which is an extremely cool thing.
And it hasn't been out that long. Is it successful so far?
Yeah, well, and this is going to sound amazing, it instantly became the fastest selling consumer electronics device in history. This is according to the Guinness Book of Records. It's outsold iPhones and iPads, with 8 million sold in the first 60 days. And the most recent figure shows more than 10 million have been sold to date.
Wow.
So that's a lot of these out in the wild.
Yeah.
And potentially a bigger market than iPhone apps, if you think about it that way.
True. Okay. Well, as I guess geeks want to do once they get a piece of cool kit, they want to do something a bit different with it.
Well, yeah. I mean, within days of launch, a company called Adafruit Industries offered a $3,000 bounty for the first open source drivers. And that prize was claimed by a guy within about 3 days called Hector Martin Cantero. Now, it turns out that Adafruit bounty was suggested and financed by a Microsoft insider, a really cool guy, Johnny Lee. Now, he's quite famous already as the originator of a great pile of hacks for the Wiimote, which he published while he was at university before being hired by Microsoft to work on the Kinect project, or Project Natal as it was then known.
I see. Well, I mean, it's a quite a simple device in its connectivity, isn't it? Because everyone, I think, is familiar with a USB plug.
Yes. Yeah, it can be connected to any PC via USB. And as soon as geeks found this out and found out they could get a driver, cool things have been surfacing ever since. Basically, every day I go to one of a couple of websites, connecthacks.net or openconnect.org. And I just read an unending stream of cool uses that people are doing with it.
Okay, like what?
I mean, initially, hacks started making use of the fact that it gave separate depth information. So you get a color picture and a separate black and white picture, and the black and white picture is white where it's close to the camera and black where it's far from the camera.
Yeah.
So the first thing to surface was putting these together was the creation of a virtual camera. So it'll let you see the image from any angle. Of course, as soon as the virtual camera moves away from the place where the Kinect is looking from, there's areas of nothingness where the Kinect can't see. It's like a shadow of sight that you can't see.
It's kind of like you're falling into a black hole or something, isn't it?
It is. It's quite strange. It's like you're being lit by the camera. But it's later been demonstrated working with two Kinects working at different angles, filling in that empty space.
Huh. So
you'll see something done with that in a minute, actually.
So almost
for those watching on the Ustream channel here.
Yeah, so almost like an actual hologram or something, or definitely a 3D type environment.
Isn't it? Even though it's only from the one point, being able to move the camera around, you suddenly see that things are in front of each other. You see the 3D there, and speaking of 3D, there's programs that allow the software to track where the user's head is. So any display can react to the user's head movement. This produces a much more natural illusion of depth than typical 3D views, where it's a static point of view, but it gives you two images, one to each eye, binocular 3D vision.
Yeah.
We only actually see in 3D using this method for the first, basically up to arm's length. That's why our eyes are the distance apart. We've got accurate 3D vision up to arm's length because we manipulate things very closely like that. Our depth perception beyond that is usually given to us by the difference in parallax motion. Things closer to us seem to move quicker than, across the visual field more than things further away.
Sure.
So this is going to lead to much better immersion in games and virtual spaces.
Will it also,
as well as providing better eyes and ears for robots and things like that.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Will it also allow people who can't see 3D so well a little bit more into the experience of 3D?
It'll take them completely into the experience of 3D. You can experience 3D without binocular vision.
Yeah.
I know this for a fact because I wear glasses now, but for many years, for over 10 years, I had the same sight problem that I have now. I'm long-sighted in one eye, short-sighted in the other.
Yeah.
So I almost never see in binocular vision. But I could still catch a ball and things like that, all the things that you require depth perception to do. Your brain gets that depth perception in other ways.
Okay, what about...
So as long as you move around, you will get the illusion of 3D.
Okay, cool. Well, what about another hack?
Well, if you combine all of that, you end up with virtual camera technology. You could get realistic video chat, where you could actually make eye contact with the person on screen in front of you, instead of always looking up or down a bit, to have to appear to make eye contact, which will be incredible for people. This is one of the things which is really poor with video conferencing, is either you're looking at the person and not making eye contact with them, or you're looking at the camera and making eye contact with them. You can't have it two-way, and that's not very comfortable for humans.
That's a good point. Well, that could completely change the way we even do it on the show eventually.
Yes, completely. We just have to wait for this software and hardware to mature a little bit to make it as good as our cameras are now. But a guy, Oliver Kralos, at the University of California, has already got this running with two Kinects at either end, building up a 3D representation of each person with a virtual camera that is following the head motion of each person.
Brilliant.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
So there's also there's programs under development to create fully colored captured 3D objects just by pointing a Kinect at them and moving them around, or mapping spaces by walking around with a laptop and a Kinect capturing the 3D data as you go.
That's pretty cool.
There's projects underway to sense American Sign Language, which Microsoft said the Kinect wouldn't have enough resolution to do this, but this hasn't had to stop the developers from having a go and having some early success.
Yeah.
Which is quite awesome, the idea that people could be signing to their computer and their computer would be recognizing the gestures. So also the release of further drivers, the OpenNI drivers and the NITE skeletal tracking drivers from PrimeSense, have also opened up dirt cheap motion capture. So this has brought motion capture down to the enthusiast level, this will be a huge hit with small-scale CGI filmmakers and machinima people. And one of the things that's really got me excited is a Japanese virtual pop star, Miku Hatsune. She's voiced by a piece of music software, and the people who made the music software also made an application to choreograph her dance moves. They released this as freeware, and one of the cool things was it ran using a physics engine to drive all the characters' clothes and hair, so that the animation is very lifelike. Now, this software, Miku Miku Dance, was recently patched to accept these OpenNI Kinect drivers as input, allowing real-time control of the dancer's movement. So this is fast, accurate, and really good fun to play with. As long as you don't do handstands or cartwheels, an on-screen 3D character will match your every move real-time. So we went out last weekend, ran this software at an outdoor dance party in Wellington, and everyone had a great time playing with it. All they had to do was stand in front of this dancer in a special pose known as the Phi pose, with your arms straight out and bent up at the elbow at 90 degrees. Everyone thought we were worshipping some strange god at the start, I think. So whenever the software detects this pose, it locks the dancers onto that person and starts matching their motion.
Of course.
So really, these people-sensing drivers for the Kinect, they can track up to 6 people in the field of view, and they can gather joint information from 2 of them for use in games or animation or dancing and stuff. So think about what this means for machine vision and the integration of robots and AI with the environment. This has turned the Kinect into a people sensor. Right?
Yeah.
This is a hugely important factor in allowing robots to safely interact with people. It's been one of the main roadblocks in the integration of robotics with human society, and this sensor is going to remove that roadblock, and it's going to do it cheaply for every robotics enthusiast and every company around the world. You know.
Absolutely amazing, and so cool to see it in action. In those videos of your of the dance party that you went to on the weekend, very
yeah,
cool.
out in a field in the dark at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
working perfectly. The only time it glitched was when it got so cold that dew got on the lenses.
Well, brilliant. That is some Kinect hacks, and you can see this as a video once more. You can find that up in the Radio Wammo Show YouTube channel or over at thegeekshow.com. The Geek Show, 2 3s rather than 2 E's, and check out Calvin on Twitter as well, twitter.com/CHELFYN. Thanks very much, Calvin. We will catch you next time as well. Cheers.
Okay, see you next time.